WWE was supposed to have a draft tonight. I thought we were going to have a draft. A 2019 draft tonight. The hell was that? Unreal. It's like this company is absolutely incapable of putting on a good show. I understand that this company is at the will of Fox. I know Fox is handling all of this. Fox is going out of their way. Well out of their way. More so than I think they even want to go out of their way. To make WWE feel important. To make WWE feel sports authentic. But man, if it's going to be this lame, if it's going to be that cheesy, if it's going to be that cringe, if it's going to make me want to change the channel because it's embarrassing to watch human beings acting the way that human beings were acting tonight. Fox needs to quit while they are only 2 weeks in this WWE deal. You know, I'm all for being sports authentic, but there's a good way to go about it. There is a real, genuine way to go about it. Yet, it still lends itself to being in that pro wrestling world, and everybody's making a mockery out of it. Everybody's making a joke out of it. Nobody's taking it seriously. Honestly, what did we watch tonight? What did we watch as far as the draft portion of this show tonight? I'm going to go over the rules. The rules were fine. The rules were fine. First of all, at the top, let me start at the top. WWE and some idiot in WWE on WWE.com, someone who works for the website, leaked. They leaked, or spoiled, I should say, the exact order of everybody being named by Stephanie McMahon all night. There was maybe 1 or 2 different situations where they kind of realized that they fucked up, and then they tried to switch a name here or there to pretend that it wasn't the exact list that we seen on WWE.com. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, WWE.com spoiled the list of everybody being drafted on tonight and Monday. Now, knowing that they made a mistake, I'm sure they'll change it going into Monday, but tonight, they caught it well too late. Stephanie McMahon revealed every person in the draft on the WWE roster for tonight. And in the same order, all you had to do was get the outcome of that opening match with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and then you could have spared yourself 2 hours from watching this show tonight. You could have looked at WWE.com, realized by the end of that first match that Monday Night Raw got the first draft pick in this draft, and then you could kind of just base it off what they put on the website and realize who is going where and what brand they're going to be on. So right then and there, WWE fucked up. So whoever's in charge of that portion of the website, whoever did this big mistake tonight, clearly is getting yelled at, or worst case, fired from WWE. Because that's what I would do. If that was my employee and he did that and spoiled everything for the millions of people watching at home, I would have terminated him right then and there. What a dumbass. I don't know who came up with the boardroom idea. I would have rather not seen the boardroom if they were going to be that terrible. It reminded me of what I seen on Monday Night Raw with Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. There absolutely was zero genuine feeling coming out of each of those boardrooms, which I highly doubt were members of USA Network and Fox Sports. These were cheaply paid actors trying to act genuine with every big draft pick that was made. They drafted Natalya and they celebrated as if they drafted fucking Macho Man Randy Savage. I don't know what they're going for. I don't know why that was needed on the show. But if you're not set with making this serious and giving me a genuine, organic, natural reaction to the draft, then please don't bother me with this bullshit that you put on the show. There was a fucking geek in the boardroom with his laptop open. He had a fucking background of a goddamn peacock. And he had a blank piece of paper, and he was pretending to write down what was going on with the draft. How detailed is this draft that you need to have fucking notepads? What a dumb fucking thing that they added to the show. Do you know how I wanted to change the channel just by watching that garbage? It makes everything into a mockery. It's not real. It's like they're not even taking it serious. It's like insulting the fans' intelligence. Who's watching that thinking that that's a genuine reaction? Who is watching this show looking for a real sports authentic feel? And then they got fucking geeks in a boardroom jumping up and down because they drafted fucking Natalya to Monday Night Raw. Are you kidding me? My God, man. It's like this company is absolutely incapable of making anything feel important. That was awful. Absolutely awful. Now, the rules of the draft were laid out quite nicely. I got the rules right here. There were 71 superstars in the pool. WWE has definitely more than 71 stars, but 30 were drafted tonight, and 41 were drafted to Monday, meaning that 41 superstars will find homes, whether they stay on Raw or whether they go to SmackDown Live. For every 2 SmackDown picks, Raw will get 3. The basis of that was SmackDown is a 2-hour show, so they get 2 picks. Monday Night Raw is a 3-hour show, so that show is going to need more superstars because of the 3-hour format. Tag teams count as 1 pick, but teams can be split up if USA Network and SmackDown Fox executives do think that they should be split up. So teams could be picked as 1, and if they want to split a certain team, they could certainly do so, which I hope does not happen. We got out of SmackDown with no teams being split. Let's keep it that way on Monday Night Raw. Free agents, all undrafted superstars can sign with either brand. I don't know what that means. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know why you wouldn't draft a superstar to a brand. This show, SmackDown and Monday Night Raw, both shows can use as much talent as they can get. With the exclusivity and the wild card rule dying, this is a great opportunity to give opportunity to those that you have not given opportunity to. So nobody, realistically, or there shouldn't be much as far as a free agent pool at the end of this draft. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Okay, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. This is another thing that I really don't understand, and the same thing is happening on Monday Night Raw, which, I mean, it's just illogical, and it's stupid. It is stupid. Roman Reigns is fighting for SmackDown Live against Seth Rollins, who's the Universal Champion. They have a match to open this show, and the winner of this match gets a first round number 1 pick. So the brand that wins, Rollins for Raw and Reigns for SmackDown, they get the first overall pick in the draft. Now, you're probably asking, JD, what's wrong with that? Well, Seth Rollins is the Universal Champion. He is the most, or supposedly so, the most important person in Monday Night Raw. In the Monday Night Raw locker room. On Monday Night Raw. He's the Universal Champion. Who is Roman Reigns exactly? Why is Roman Reigns fighting for SmackDown's honor? Who is he? Why is he fighting for SmackDown? Why would he care to fight for SmackDown? I don't get it. If Rollins is fighting for Raw as the Universal Champion, why isn't Brock Lesnar fighting for SmackDown as the WWE Champion? Why is that not the case? Does Brock Lesnar not give a fuck about the draft? Does he not give a shit about what brand he is drafted to? Why is Reigns put in that position? And why would Reigns care about this situation? That's something I did not understand. That's the illogical bullshit that we are fed on this show and on Monday Night Raw. I just don't get it. I really don't understand it. The draft tonight, I enjoyed the 2016 draft more so than I did this draft. This draft, and I mean this wholeheartedly, it felt empty. It felt lifeless. It felt completely void of any importance. And I honestly think if you were to gauge anybody in that WWE locker room, they're going along with whatever Fox wants. I guarantee you that everybody in the WWE didn't even want to do the draft. I swear to God, they felt like they were just against their will tonight. They made this seem so lifeless and so unimportant. Nothing really mattered on this show. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way that I do, but I don't really sense any change on night one of the draft. Most of these rosters remain the same from when we seen them last week. And that's not a good thing at all. Because these shows, with these current rosters, with these current writing staffs, they have gone through the ringer. There is nothing more that they can do with the majority of these rosters. Maybe except for a Sasha Banks going to SmackDown Live and a Randy Orton going to Monday Night Raw and a Braun Strowman coming over to SmackDown Live. Everything remains the same. Everything remains the same on night one. So what change, realistically, is there going to be? I don't understand it. I really don't. Unless Monday Night Raw is going to give me the greatest draft of all time, nothing really is giving me a sense of change on this show. I didn't like this show at all. I thought this show fucking sucked. I thought they went about everything in the most cringe-like manner, from the boardrooms on USA Network and SmackDown, from Fox executives to USA Network executives on NBC Universal. They had the NFL Sunday pre-game analysts, Terry Bradshaw and Kurt Manatee, and everybody else, Troy Aikman and Joe Fuck was there. None of these guys give a shit about WWE. You are bringing in outside entities that don't know a goddamn thing about WWE or the world of professional wrestling. They're pretending to, and it comes off completely fake. It comes off not genuine. It comes off just completely cringe. I don't want to hear from Troy Aikman. What the fuck does Troy Aikman know about WWE? No matter if you think that's sports authentic or not, that's not what I want to see on TV. I want to see people taking this shit seriously, yet I got fucking Troy Aikman talking about God knows what. And then I got fucking Joe Buck talking about, well, I don't know what a pile driver is. I learned something today, and I learned something new from Troy Aikman. Are you fucking kidding me? Then you got Kurt Manatee predicting Andre the Giant. If I was to make a draft pick, I would draft Andre the Giant. Then you got Terry Bradshaw drafting Dusty Rhodes. What is this shit? You got people talking about trades. You got people talking about free agents. You got people talking about an injury list, none of which I know who the fuck they are. Why wasn't this shit detailed in the notes? You should have laid this all out in the outline for the draft. Yet, whatever, we'll just go through it. People will eat it up and they'll enjoy it and they'll be talking about it and they'll be fucking ranting on YouTube about it. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? This draft was a fucking mess. Really, there was no surprises. Nothing new happened. Nothing is there as far as change. All we seen was Fox do this, Fox do that, boardrooms that look like fucking cringe. And I sat there and I'm like, are we getting a draft anytime soon? This show sucked. This show really fucking sucked, man. I don't know what else to say. Monday Night Raw. I don't believe we got to look towards Monday Night Raw to get a full sense of a complete draft. And even then, I don't think they are going to do the right thing. These shows are not ending up the way I expected. At all. I don't see any change whatsoever. And I don't believe we have to wait till Monday Night Raw to get a good sense of where we're going into the rest of the year. We're going to go over everything. We're going to go over where everybody landed. We're going to go over the matches that happened tonight. We're going to go over Bayley's heel turn, which I would consider more of a heel turn compared to Sasha Banks. But we'll see what happened there. We'll go over it, what I thought about it, and why I think it's about a year and a half, 2 years too late for Miss Bayley. So we'll go over all that right here on the podcast. Make sure you guys check out all the other videos that you missed. We got a ton of content, man. All week, we have been busy. We will be busy every single day, every single week with the addition of AEW. We got Monday Night Raw on Monday. We got Off the Script Elite on Tuesday. Your one-stop shop for all AEW news and rumors. We got AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, which is the hottest podcast right now on YouTube, right here on Off the Script. It is blowing everything else out of the water, which I expected it to, and thank you guys so much for showing support on AEW. NXT on Thursday, we got SmackDowns on Fridays right here, and then we got Off the Script Saturday and Sunday coming at you. They're already recorded. They're already on Patreon. Make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out and be right here for Off the Script episode 295, part 1 and 2, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go over Master P and him buying House of Glory. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Folks, it's legit, and I go over the entire thing in detail for you right here on the podcast. We talk about the real ending that Vince McMahon did not go with at Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, why I think it was a colossal mistake not to go with it, and if we did get the original ending, I don't think people would have backlashed the way that they would have, and it could have ended up being the best pay-per-view of the entire year. Unbelievable stuff. And then on Sunday, we are talking about Edge. Yes, Adam Copeland coming back from retirement, and he'll be in the WWE once again. So make sure you guys check all that stuff out right here on the podcast. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. We just eclipsed 113,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And make sure you guys, like I said, social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. And if you guys want that early access for Off the Script, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Guys, tonight's podcast is brought to you by my friends over at Trend Teams. How many of you guys play fantasy football every single year? What about fantasy baseball? What about fantasy basketball? You guys pick the players, you guys make the teams, you guys win some money. The thrill and the excitement of watching your players, the players that you've chosen, do well for you to bring your fantasy team up to the #1 ranking in your league. Well, I got something for you guys. Fantasy social media from my friends over at Trend Teams. Fantasy social media is a competitive fantasy game, similar to fantasy sports games like fantasy football or fantasy basketball. The key difference is that instead of tracking sports statistics, fantasy social media is driven by global social media activity and the public's responses to it, likes and retweets on social media. I want you guys to join for free over at trendteams.com. Free games and giveaways to enter every day. Follow them on social media at Trend Teams. They got a free Trend Teams app. And listen to this, guys. I actually have an off-the-script league that you guys can check out for free. Create your own teams, and you guys can go to battle against me. I've already chosen my team, and I want to show you guys my team right here. You guys can pick any social media influencer, anybody you want, musician, politician, sportscaster, wrestler, and podcaster like myself. Yes, I am eligible to be chosen for your team. Guys, look at my team. I got Ariana Grande. I got Elon Musk. I got Lil Nas X, Andrew Yang, Camila Cabello, Chris Jericho, Dwayne Johnson, Joe Rogan, CM Punk, and Randy Orton. Join trendteams.com. Go to battle against me. Let's have some fun right here for SmackDown Live on Off the Script. SmackDown Live opened up, and the illogical bullshit that WWE is very well known for starts right out of the gate. We mentioned this already in the beginning when I started ranting about how WWE just made this draft into a joke. They didn't really take it seriously. You could see with the NBC Universal and Fox Sports boardrooms, nobody took it seriously. It was all a big comedy act to these people. They got Fox personalities that didn't know a goddamn thing about WWE. I don't understand the logic. It's like they don't think before they do. They just do it. And then we criticize them, and then they want to ignore the criticisms and then justify those mistakes. Case in point, Sunday. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. I mentioned this before. Let's talk about it. Now, this match pretty much guaranteed you that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were going to remain on their individual brands. Rollins is not going anywhere. He's the Universal Champion. So by default, he's staying on Monday Night Raw. No, they're not drafting Rollins to SmackDown Live, and they're not going to change the red title into a blue title. It's not going from a fruit roll-up to a fucking Smurf, okay? So for the people out there, well, he could be drafted to SmackDown, they could change the strap to a blue title. No, they can't. No, they can't. It's red, and God forbid they change it to blue. That would make it look even worse. I don't know how that is even possible, but it would look so much worse in blue. Rollins ain't going anywhere. Neither is Reigns. So the fact that they made this match solidified that Reigns and Rollins were not going anywhere. Rollins is the Universal Champion. Why would you put him in a match as Universal Champion when he can't lose? So, right out of the gate, you're not going to have your Universal Champion lose, nor should you. WWE is known for having champions lose on TV. No champions should be losing on TV. You're putting your Universal Champion in a match, realistically, that he cannot lose. So, right out of the gate, a lot of people were already thinking, fuck finish. Why isn't Brock Lesnar in this situation? Why is Rollins fighting as the champion on Raw? The number one guy on Raw. Why is he fighting for his brand? And why isn't Brock Lesnar fighting for his brand? Why is Reigns fighting for his brand? What does this mean for Reigns? What if he beat Seth Rollins? Did anybody think of that? What if he beat Seth Rollins? He would beat somebody in a championship match clean for a number one draft pick. But he wouldn't become the Universal Champion. Nor would he ever get another Universal Championship match for the foreseeable future. So, do you see what you do there? If Reigns, now this didn't happen, and I would hope WWE is mindful of these situations. I don't know why I can come up with this shit off the cuff and nobody's thinking about this shit back in the fucking locker room or in those boardrooms, right? What if Reigns realistically beat Rollins? He would be beating Rollins for a number one draft pick. And then Reigns gets to go back into the locker room. Yeah, guys, I got a number one draft pick. But I just beat the Universal Champion on SmackDown. When am I getting my Universal Championship match? Oh, that's right, Reigns. Never. Because you're a SmackDown guy. And Rollins, more than likely, is 100% guaranteed to be on Monday Night Raw. This did not make any sense at all. So we got a match. Number one draft pick on the line. Roman Reigns fighting for SmackDown. Seth Rollins fighting for Raw. They went back and forth. They know each other so well. They're so great. They traveled the road together. They're best friends. We had a bunch of counters to a counter to a counter. Right? We got... Let's see what we got here. Let me see what we got in my notes. I don't even give a shit. We had Rollins try a suicide dive. And that was blocked by Reigns. He uppercutted him from the outside. So Rollins was hanging over the ropes. Reigns went for a drive-by, and he missed, because Rollins knew that was coming. So Reigns missed the drive-by. Rollins goes to the apron, and he tries to jump off the apron and give Reigns a flying knee. He missed, and then they both ended up in the ring together, and then they both ended up face-to-face, and that was pretty much it. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, counter to a counter to a counter. They know each other so well, and Corey Graves is like, these guys know each other so well, countless hours on the road, traveling together. There you go. They went to commercial break. Seth had Reigns on the mat in a chin lock. Riveting action here to open SmackDown Live. So, Graves was talking about, if you're a USA Network representative, you have to like the look of how things are going right now. Because Rollins has Reigns in a fucking chin lock. Either you don't know anything about wrestling or you're a complete schmuck, idiot, retard. Yes, I'm jumping for joy that Rollins is going to win because he's got Reigns in a chin lock. Yes, that's a defining factor in a wrestling match. What a dumbass. So Reigns powered out. He powered out with a sit-out, single-arm powerbomb that he's known for. 2 count. Seth landed 2 dives through the ropes. He finally got those dives, those shitty-looking dives that he does. Then he got a frog splash, which looked good on Reigns for a 2 count. Seth then stopped Reigns with a buckle bomb. Reigns tried to come back, buckle bomb. Reigns fired back with a Superman punch for a quick 2 count. So he bounced off the turnbuckle to give Rollins a Superman punch, as if we never seen that before. Such an ingenious maneuver there by Reigns. So, Superman punch, 2 count. Both were down. Reigns went for a spear. Seth countered the spear, which looked terrible. He caught Reigns mid-spear and delivered a very, very, very lackadaisical and lazy and just terrible-looking pedigree out of the spear. So, Seth got a near fall off that half-ass pedigree. Referee stopped before the 3 count. It was a 2 7/8. Seth went for the stomp. He was going and signaling for the stomp. And then the Bray Wyatt sounds and creepy laughter was heard. The lights went out. And then we heard the shrieking. And we heard the music. So Rollins is standing there looking for the Fiend. And the Fiend comes up through the ring a la Kane. He gives Seth Rollins the mandible claw. He drags him down into hell. All of a sudden, Rollins disappears with the Fiend underneath the ring, through the ring. We see some white smoke start coming up. And then Rollins emerges from the smoke. And he evades and escapes the Fiend's mandible claw. So Rollins is escaping. The Fiend emerges again to look and peek like he's some fucking creepy stalker, and then he goes right back down into the hole. And then all of a sudden, the lights go back out again, and the Fiend is on the stage looking back, very reminiscent of The Undertaker. He looks back at the ring, and Rollins is standing in the ring looking on as the Fiend is looking on at him at the top of the stage. Where was Reigns during all this? Where was Reigns during all this? I'll tell you where Reigns was. He was the smart one. He got out of there as quick as he can. Now, I was thinking to myself, did they just end this #1 draft pick match in a no contest? I was like, Vince has to be fucking trolling the fans at this point. Vince has to be trolling the fans at this point to end another Seth Rollins match in a no contest. But luckily, we had Roman Reigns losing this match by DQ because the Fiend attacked Seth Rollins to start SmackDown Live. Now, I don't believe that they're going with another attack on the Fiend, or by the Fiend, on Rollins here. I really don't understand it. But luckily, folks, we are not getting the match. The rumored match, the graphic that was floating around on social media between Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins at Survivor Series for the WWE Universal Championship was only just a rumor. WWE quickly pulled that down, and now we know why they quickly pulled it down. We might have a reason as to why they ended the Hell in a Cell match the way that they did on Sunday night after tonight as well. They went from this to the War Room, the Fox Draft War Room. 16 people acted very just cringe-like. It was almost like it was a fucking cartoon. It insulted my intelligence so badly. It made me roll my eyes in the back of my head like Undertaker. And I wanted to change the channel because it just came off as sheer mockery. There was no genuine feeling behind anything here on this draft. It was like a fucking joke. So, they showed the USA Network boardroom. They showed the Fox Network boardroom with that fucking cheesy Fox robot that they got for NFL Sunday. So, Stephanie McMahon walked out, and she actually asked for booze. She's like, guys, I'm disappointed in you. Where are the booze? Oh, don't worry. We heard them on Sunday night. Yet they weren't aimed at you. They were aimed at your father. She stood on the stage at a podium, and she said for the first time ever, executives from Fox and USA would take part in the draft. Now, I like that. I just wish they would have went about it in a more genuine way. She said the first pick by Raw was Becky Lynch. Man! Monday Night Raw drafts Becky Lynch, #1 in the 2019 draft. What happened, champ? Huh? What happened? I would love to be a fucking ghost in Rollins and Becky's bedroom. Just them talking about how she got drafted #1 as Raw Women's Champion in this draft over the Universal Champion. Don't you think that WWE knows what they're doing? They hold Becky Lynch in higher regard than Seth Rollins. I wonder how damaging that is to Seth Rollins' ego. He'll play it off like he doesn't give a shit, but his girlfriend, his fiance, got drafted over him in the draft. I would love to know what they both say to each other away from the cameras. That is just hilarious. It really is. So Becky Lynch gets drafted to Monday Night Raw. No surprise. She's the Raw Women's Champion. Why is she going anywhere? Why would she go to SmackDown Live? Well, they could switch the championships. No. I don't even know why champions were in the fucking draft. They should have been designated to their brands just based on the titles that they hold. Why were they even in the draft? Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live should have already started off with people on their roster based on the champions that they have. It's ridiculous. There's no reason to switch championships. There's none. Now, if you want to switch the IC in the United States, I'm okay with that. But the Raw and SmackDown titles that clearly define the colors of the brand in the title, those stay. Universal title defines Raw, they stay. WWE Champion defines SmackDown, he stays. Same thing with the tag team titles. They're both red and blue. You can't do anything about that. The only titles that should really go back and forth if you want to draft somebody is the Intercontinental and United States Championship. But just based on the consistency and the flow of what I just mentioned, I wouldn't even put any championship in the draft. So both of these shows should have already had a roster assigned just by the champions that they have right now on their shows. So SmackDown's first pick was Reigns. They went with Roman Reigns. I don't understand that. I really don't understand. How are you going to have Brock Lesnar on this show and not pick Brock Lesnar number one? Is anybody else miffed by this logic? Like, I don't understand. How are you going to pick Roman Reigns? Like, I would love to know. First of all, that easily gives away that these people have the IQ of fucking a crayon box in these boardrooms. The collective IQ of these people in both of these boardrooms were 3. Seriously. None of these people had any wrestling knowledge whatsoever. I don't know who in their right mind. You don't even have to be a pro wrestling fan. Why wouldn't you draft Brock Lesnar as your number 1 draft pick in the draft? Roman Reigns is your number 1 draft pick over Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, man. I swear to God. The sheer stupidity that we have to sit through every single week is just mind-boggling. It really is. So Reigns is SmackDown's first pick. So Michael Cole says, well, that's no surprise. It's a surprise to me. Raw then picked the OC. This I liked. AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, none of them were broken up. AJ didn't go to SmackDown. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows didn't go to Monday Night Raw. Somebody in this company had a fucking brain. Probably Paul Heyman, being that all 3 of these guys, more specifically AJ Styles, is a Paul Heyman guy. So there you go. He wanted them on Raw, more specifically AJ Styles. Gallows and Anderson will die 1,000 deaths if without AJ Styles. So there you go. I like the fact that they drafted the entire stable in one move like that. Drew McIntyre, he goes to Monday Night Raw, and that was pretty much it. So we got Becky Lynch going to Raw, Reigns going to SmackDown, we got the OC going to Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre, and then they showed the Fox War Room celebrating their Reigns pick with a garbage celebration. It was so I wanted to change the channel. And then Bray Wyatt ends up on SmackDown, which shocked the hell out of me. Because all I heard was that Paul Heyman was fighting tooth and nail to get Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw. And I guess money wins out. You're paying Fox $1 billion, or Fox is paying you $1 billion. Fox is paying WWE $1 billion for their programming. They are going to dictate. They are going to ask for whatever they want. They want Wyatt. Who's the hottest guy in your company right now? Vince says Bray Wyatt. Fox says, we're going to take him to SmackDown Live. That's all. You can't do anything about that. So Fox is getting Brock Lesnar. They're getting Bray Wyatt. And they're going to get Ronda Rousey. There you go. I would not be surprised if Lesnar's definitely ending up on SmackDown, and Rousey is ending up on SmackDown Live as well. So that was the first round of the draft. Corbin walked out, and man, I tell you, WWE, if you're listening to me, please, for the love of Jesus Christ, will you stop with the mashup of the musics? Please. It's so bad when I gotta listen to the fucking Kabuki Warriors come out with a mashup of Kairi Sane and Asuka's theme music. And then I gotta listen to Baron Corbin with this Regal-esque theme going into and transitioning into his regular WWE theme. It is so garbage. So garbage. One theme. That's it. I know Baron Corbin is the king of the ring just by looking at him and seeing the graphic with his name. King Corbin. I don't need to hear it in his theme music. Baron Corbin has some of the best theme music in all of the WWE. Why ruin that by putting some Regal-esque garbage in front of his metal theme? It's bullshit. Stop with the mashup of theme musics. He talks about being a benevolent king, and no matter what brand he gets drafted to, he will be a benevolent king who will share his riches with everybody. He then laughed and said he won't do any of that because he can't stand the smell of filth coming off everybody in the crowd. All hail King Corbin. And then we have another rematch with Chad Gable. I don't believe this company. They went with Shorty Gable. They're going with Shorty Gable. I am telling you right now, outside of this explanation, I will not call him Shorty Gable from this point on. I will not disrespect Chad Gable. I will not lower him to the depths that Vince McMahon has lowered him. This is bullshit. Chad Gable, and believe me, there'll be some fucking idiot, there'll be some elitist or apologist or fucking analyst out there in the community. Well, it's getting him over. No, it ain't. It's fucking disrespectful. What if I called you Shorty? Or what if I named you a fucking nickname on your show? Fucking retard. This is stupid. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. One of the most over guys, probably in the locker room, I don't know about the crowd, but one of the most talented guys in the entire company. You look at who this company has as far as top-tier wrestling talent. I know, it's not going to get the ratings and it's not going to get over. It's got to be more than wrestling talent, but look at what Chad Gable brings to the table as far as sheer talent goes. He's going to lower himself to being called Shorty fucking Gable. And you know WWE's invested in this shit. They got the graphic with his Shorty Gable name. They got a fucking Titantron logo with Shorty Gable. I don't believe this shit. I don't believe this shit. I don't know how anybody could back the company on this shit. When you look at this shit, it's sad, it's pathetic. I feel so bad for Chad Gable. Fuck Vince McMahon. And it makes everybody. It should make everybody. I know it won't make everybody because everybody's a fucking idiot. It should make everybody just sit there and realize that it's very difficult to defend this company in any which way. They are losing the fans' faith so much, more and more every single week, that this is an embarrassment. It really is. This is how Vince McMahon repays putting Chad Gable in a major storyline or a major match or giving him TV time. Oh, he's over with Vince McMahon. He's over with me. We're going to put him on TV, Shorty Gable. So Vince McMahon is pushing Chad Gable, but he's pushing Chad Gable to get his rocks off. He's pushing Chad Gable with this Shorty Gable nickname so that he could laugh while he's watching this show on a TV monitor in Gorilla sitting next to Kevin Dunn. Awful. Absolutely awful. I don't even know why this match was happening again. I really don't. What did we see differently here that we did not see the last 3 times that we've seen it? I don't get it. Nothing in this match offered anything different than what we've seen. Corbin wins with an end of days. There was a nice back and forth in the end. Gable was in this thing. He came back with an ankle lock. Corbin was attacking him early on in the match, kept on the attack. Gable came back. He got an ankle lock in the middle of the ring, right in the middle of the ring. Corbin was about to reach the ropes, and Gable pulled him back into the middle of the ring. Corbin resisted. He tried to fight off. Gable then jackknife covered Corbin for a 2 count. Corbin then hits a quick end of days to put an end to the match. Nobody's kicking out of the end of days. The end of days is the best finishing move in all of WWE. Corbin wins in 8 minutes. We've seen enough of this match. If there's one move on Monday Night Raw that I'm anticipating, is that one of these guys moves to Monday Night Raw and the other moves to SmackDown Live, and we get this shit over with. There's no reason why these guys should be in the ring together. Enough is enough already. They went to an NFL Live panel, which I don't know why. None of these guys realize what the fuck is going on at this point. Tony Gonzalez said it's a big payday for SmackDown Live. Terry Bradshaw says his number one pick would have been Dusty Rhodes. I'm sure Vince McMahon loved that one. Howie Long said Bruno Sammartino would be his guy. Michael Strahan picked Ric Flair. And then they brought up Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, and Killer Kowalski as well. This is what you get, folks. You get people who don't realize... Well, first of all, what does it say about your main roster guys that you got the NFL analyst on Sunday Night Football or Sunday Football on Fox choosing who they would pick, and every single one of them is an old school, old-timer, a legend, a Hall of Famer. They didn't pick any of the new guys. So what does that say about the active roster now? That none of them will ever be in the same league as these guys that they chose. It's awful. These guys probably have a wrestling IQ of a fucking pencil, so I didn't expect anything more from these guys, period. But it's really shitty to see these guys on the show. They have no knowledge of what's going on. They're just there because Fox asked them to be there, and it comes off so fucking disingenuous. It comes off so unorganic and unnatural. And I know I use those words a lot, but man, I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I guarantee you none of you guys liked any of this shit. It just felt very fucking forced. Felt very forced. Stephanie comes back out for round 2 of the draft. She announced Randy Orton is headed to Raw. Oh my goodness, man. I can't wait to fall asleep to Randy Orton on Monday Night Raw like I was falling asleep to him on SmackDown Live. So, Monday Night Raw gets Randy Orton. Sasha Banks is headed to SmackDown, which I figured would be the case because after she lost that Hell in a Cell match to Becky Lynch, that was the end of the feud. There's no more. But alas, you thought that was the end of that feud. Not really, because WWE is putting Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks in a match to open Raw on Monday, and that match is going to do the same thing that Rollins and Reigns did on this episode of SmackDown Live. The winner of that match gets a #1 draft pick for their brand on that night. Why would you put Sasha Banks in that position unless you're going to have a fuck finish? I don't see them beating Becky Lynch. Why would a champion lose? Why would Sasha beat Becky Lynch now when she should have beat her at Hell in a Cell, realistically? Why would Sasha Banks give a shit about beating Becky Lynch now for the same reason that Reigns fought Rollins? Why would he give a shit? If he beat Rollins, he's not getting the championship. He's getting nothing more than a fucking draft pick for a brand I'm sure he doesn't give a shit about. Same thing with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is not beating the champion and getting the championship. She's beating the champion and getting a fucking draft pick for SmackDown Live. And I guarantee you, Sasha loses and Becky Lynch gets the win on Monday Night Raw, which would go back to right where Sasha Banks was before she came back to the WWE. A loser. A loser. Don't know why you would put her in that situation. You could have come up with anybody else in that situation except Sasha Banks. And all the rumors and all the reports, oh, Sasha Banks is hurt. Oh, Sasha Banks is this. You know, she's got a back problem and she's got a concussion. What happened? What happened? All I said was that there was a fear that she injured her hip. That's it. Never said anything else because I didn't have any more information. All I said was that she feared it was her hip and that she couldn't walk and she couldn't stand following Hell in a Cell. Clearly she's okay, because if she wasn't, she wouldn't be in a match on Monday Night Raw. We'll see what happens. But I think it's garbage because there's one outcome and one outcome only, and I think Becky Lynch is winning that match. Unless WWE wants to start a new feud and give Sasha a cheap victory, and Becky could have a new feud and a new challenger begin right then and there in that match for Monday Night Raw. We'll see what happens. So Sasha Banks is headed to SmackDown. Stephanie announced Ricochet was picked by Raw. He's a Paul Heyman guy. This is not a surprise. Paul Heyman is choosing all his guys, clearly, except for Bray Wyatt because he went to SmackDown Live. She then revealed Braun Strowman's going to SmackDown. Oh my God, I can't wait. realistically, there's nothing more for Braun Strowman to do on Monday Night Raw. Then Bobby Lashley was picked by Monday Night Raw. Oh my God. Whoever picked this guy is just... There you go. You got one hell of a shitty pick. So then that was it. That was the second round of the draft here on SmackDown Live. Brock Lesnar walked out with Paul Heyman next. Heyman said his client couldn't bypass this opportunity to enlighten everybody. And the reason why Brock Lesnar was here was because he was already in the T-Mobile Arena earlier in the evening, or the afternoon, I should say, because at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Paul Heyman was there with Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. They had the press conference for Crown Jewel. That match is official. And by the way, it is a WWE Championship match because Michael Cole said so. Unless he wasn't supposed to, that is a WWE Championship match at Crown Jewel. I don't know why. So Lesnar was there earlier in the afternoon, so Fox was like, well, we got Lesnar here. You might as well usher him out to TV in front of a live audience. Heyman said his client couldn't bypass this opportunity to enlighten everybody. Said a normal human being cowers at the mere thought of facing his fears, but not Lesnar. Heyman said Kane scored an unheard of first round TKO against Lesnar, and they showed clips of the match back in 2010. He said Lesnar made no excuses. He said that's the type of fighter Lesnar truly is. He said Lesnar conquers his fears, and he will do that on October 31st. Heyman said you could roll this clip back in a few weeks because it's not a prediction, it's a ... Out comes Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's music hits the PA system. And Rey came out with Cain Velasquez to really no reaction whatsoever. So, it is what it is. They, again, show Velasquez and clips of him fighting in the UFC. And this was at UFC 121. Beating Lesnar. Then they went back to Lesnar and showed a close-up of the scar underneath his eye from that fight. Kane said he's going to give Lesnar a matching scar on the other side of his face. Now, he didn't say anything in English. He didn't say anything in English, did Cain Velasquez. He barely spoke English at the press conference. He seemed very out of the water. He didn't know what the fuck he had to do or say. I guarantee you he forgot what he had to say. He's not really a guy that I would say is comfortable cutting promos in a pro wrestling landscape just yet. But I know he speaks English because I heard him at 3 o'clock when I watched the press conference. But he comes out on SmackDown Live and speaks all Spanish. Speaks all Spanish when I know he speaks English. So he spoke Spanish to Brock Lesnar, and Rey Mysterio translated for him. And Rey said that Kane said he's going to give Lesnar a matching scar on the other side of his face. So that was it. I am somewhat intrigued about this just based on the story alone. Otherwise, I'm expecting a train wreck. Same thing with Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. I'm expecting a disaster. I really am. I yell about this stuff on the podcast this weekend. I don't even want to talk about it. I really don't. I think it's fucking garbage. I really think this is all fucking garbage. The New Day. They're showcased backstage. Big E is doing his signature catchphrase, and Kofi Kingston is standing there with a plate of pancakes. And he's dancing, and he's smiling, and Xavier Woods takes one of the pancakes, and he's fanning himself with one of those fucking pancakes. Folks, I don't know what you would do if you're Kofi Kingston. Yes, I know he's got to put a smile on his face and he's got to go out there and entertain. But my God, man. If you're Kofi Kingston and you're in that situation, how are you not still just heartbroken and sad and down? How are you fucking smiling after you just lost the WWE Championship in 5 seconds to Brock Lesnar? Why would you be holding a dish of pancakes and jumping around jovial, right? In a jovial manner, thinking everything is all peaches and cream. Everything is all sunshine and rainbows. You fucking kidding me? That's what you think of your WWE Championship title reign? I don't understand that. If that is anybody else, if that is a real human being, we're not seeing that type of reaction from Kofi Kingston. Pretty lame. Pretty fucking lame, if you ask me. So, they did a Susan G. Komen thing where they presented 2 ladies with women's championships for their battle defeating breast cancer. This led to the OC, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows versus the New Day. New Day win this. Absolutely nothing of importance here. New Day win after Kofi lands a boom drop on Styles. Kofi finished Styles with an enziguri, and I believe he finished him off with the, not the enziguri, but the Trouble in Paradise, and that was it. So that's that. Gallows and Anderson were on the outside with Xavier Woods and Big E, and Kofi was in the ring with AJ Styles. AJ Styles takes another pinfall loss clean to Kofi Kingston. Seems like he can't beat Kofi Kingston in 2019. Now that everybody is where they need to be, we don't know where the New Day is going to end up. They were not drafted on this show, but the OC is on Monday Night Raw. Don't know where the New Day is going to end up. If I was to make a prediction, I would think that they end up on Monday Night Raw as well, because Kofi is never going to see the light of day with the WWE Championship again, and they've done literally everything that they can on SmackDown Live. Monday Night Raw is where I think they end up, and we could see the continuation of the OC and the New Day over there on Monday Night Raw for the Tag Team Championships. Stephanie says it's time for round 3. Raw selected Alexa Bliss, and people were cheering in the boardrooms. I don't know why. Fox were reacting to this. Just awful. It was just fucking awful. SmackDown picked Lacey Evans. Oh my God. And you know why Lacey Evans was chosen, folks. Alexa, I'm surprised, is not on SmackDown Live, but Vince is so high on Lacey Evans, he needs at least one of his blondes on SmackDown Live. So there you go. Lacey Evans is getting drafted to SmackDown Live. Raw picked Kevin Owens. And then SmackDown picked The Revival. And then Natalya was picked by Monday Night Raw. And then they showed the boardroom celebrating over the Natalya Neidhart pick. I'd be crying over the Natalya Neidhart pick. You kidding me? Who the fuck is cheering and celebrating picking Natalya Neidhart for Monday Night Raw? Unbelievable, man. So the Revival stay on SmackDown. Randy Orton is moving to Monday Night Raw, so there you go. There's no more rated RKO here. Or whatever the fuck their name is. The Revival RKO, FTRKO, whatever the fuck. I'm thinking of Edge. I'm thinking of fuck rated RKO, man. That was one of the best duos in WWE history. No question. Don't even at me. Randy Orton and Edge were one of the best duos in WWE history. If you didn't like their duo, if you didn't like their reign, I can't talk to you, bro. There's a reason why I mentioned rated RKO, because I just literally talked about him like 4 hours ago when I recorded the podcast. He was supposed to be part of this draft. He could still realistically be a part of this draft. I fully expect John Morrison to be a part of this draft as well, too. I just have a sinking feeling that both of these guys are going to be in the draft. I don't know if Edge is going to be a one-time deal or if he's going to come back and have like a Daniel Bryan-like schedule, AJ Styles-like schedule, Randy Orton-like schedule, but I'm hearing that Edge is coming back to wrestle full-time. I'm surprised we didn't see him on this show. I'm surprised we didn't get any surprises on this show. But the Revival, we'll talk about that. And we got Monday to go through with surprises or possible fucking people coming back. SmackDown got the Revival. Randy Orton's on Monday Night Raw and the Revival is on SmackDown. They are not together anymore. FTRKO is not together anymore. And it made me think, well, they didn't sign a new contract. They're not really showing WWE that they want to stay. Would not be surprised if they now lose the Tag Team Championships. But the fact that Randy Orton was put with them, I do think that WWE was trying to entice them. Look at what we did for you. We're putting you with Randy Orton. We're making you seem important. Now they moved Randy Orton to Monday Night Raw. Now the Revival are all back by themselves. More than likely going to lose the Tag Team Championships because they didn't sign a new deal. WWE knows they want out. WWE knows they want to go to AEW. So WWE is pretty much going to end up punishing the Revival sooner rather than later. That's my thought on that. So Natalya went to Monday Night Raw. Nothing new there. Nothing exciting. That's Insomnia. Cure for Insomnia on Monday Night Raw right there. Stephanie announced the 4th and final round of picks here on SmackDown Live. Raw picked up the Viking Raiders, which I think is a Paul Heyman deal. I think Paul Heyman's going to really want his guys, and I think the Viking Raiders are a part of his guys. I think Paul Heyman is really high on the Viking Raiders. And I also am hearing that Paul Heyman is big on Akam and Razor, the Authors of Pain. So we could see the Viking Raiders eventually win the Tag Team Championships, which I would not be surprised by, on Monday. And then, well, being that they have a Tag Team Championship match on Monday, that pick kind of makes sense. Because if they move to SmackDown Live, there's no way that they could challenge for those tag team titles. So WWE announced that match last week, so it makes sense to pick the Viking Raiders for Raw. But I do think that Akam and Razor are wanted by Heyman as well. So we could realistically see Akam and Razor versus the Viking Raiders on Monday Night Raw for the tag team titles. That should be pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. SmackDown picked the Lucha House Party. Don't know why. I couldn't give a shit about them. More than likely, all three of them are on their way out the door. Raw picked Nikki Cross, so Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are still together on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown picked Heavy Machinery, and Monday Night Raw picked the Street Profits, which pretty much tells everybody that they're no longer in NXT. They lost their last tag team title opportunity against the Undisputed Era, so now they are on Monday Night Raw. Maybe we'll see them finally in the ring and away from a fucking teleprompter being cheerleaders for a dead 3-hour show. With the Alexa Bliss thing, I don't understand why Monday Night Raw didn't save themselves a draft pick. Why didn't they draft Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss together, being that they're a tag team? Why did they separate them? They could have saved themselves an extra draft pick and draft somebody else. But what the fuck do I know? I don't know anything. It's in the notes. It's in the notes. Heavy Machinery got picked by SmackDown as well, so not really much changing there. So a lot of these rounds offered barely any change. There really is no change at all. The Viking Raiders stay. The Lucha House Party moves to SmackDown Live from Monday Night Raw. Not really all that exciting. Sasha Banks is moving to SmackDown. Braun Strowman's moving to SmackDown. Lacey Evans is moving to SmackDown. Randy Orton's moving to Monday Night Raw. And everybody else remains the same. Everybody else. Kevin Owens is moving to Monday Night Raw as well, too. How long before we see Shane McMahon drafted to Monday Night Raw? And that starts all over again. Nothing really changed, folks. Nothing really changed. So we went to Bayley. Bayley and Charlotte for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This was actually not that bad of a match. I actually enjoyed this more than I was anticipating to. Now, their match at the pay-per-view, their match at Hell in a Cell was not really anything all that special. And Charlotte won a 10th title reign. I'll tell you, folks, Bayley won the SmackDown Women's Championship here in this match. And Charlotte had less than a 1-week reign as SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, why did this happen? A, WWE are a bunch of fools. WWE thinks that we are stupid and we're unintelligent. Charlotte Flair should be exiled from any championship match for the remainder of 2020. That's it. No more title shots in 2019. Not one single title shot in 2020. All WWE has done is fucking take this woman, put her in a championship match, have her win for absolutely no reason, per storyline, no reason whatsoever but to fulfill their own political agenda. The only reason why Charlotte Flair keeps winning championships and then losing them is because they want so badly to call her the greatest of all time. They want her so badly to break her father's fictional fucking title reign record. They're pretty much trying to pretend Charlotte is the greatest of all time. Charlotte is a joke. What you've done to Charlotte Flair is a joke. None of which, and I said this so many times. Charlotte Flair and her title reigns, there's not one fucking title reign that you could look at and pinpoint to as memorable. They're all this. Everything you've seen was this. I don't find anything important in Charlotte Flair. Period. So that's that. Bayley came out with black hair. She came out without the signature ponytail. She came out with her hair down, all black. She was wearing a gold and black outfit. She stood on the ramp with the Bayley buddies. She showed this emotionless face. She took the jacket off. She went to the side of the stage and took what looked to be a big fucking poker. You know those things where you go to the doctor and they fucking poke your finger and it hurts the fucking shit out of you, and they're testing you for blood. They gotta get a blood sample. I hate that shit. That's what it looked like. It looked like one big oversized fucking pricker that they have in the doctor's office where they prick your finger for blood. She started swinging this thing like a fucking axe. Swinging it, cutting the Bayley buddies in half. Cutting the Bayley buddies, ripping the Bayley buddies. I'm like, okay, I could get behind this. Then Bayley's in the ring with Charlotte. And she's showing this intensity that we rarely have ever seen from Bayley. She ends up beating Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. Now, I don't understand why Charlotte continues to do the moonsault. And then WWE has the fucking balls to show a replay. She did a moonsault on the outside. She was on the barricade. She went up to the outside. Bayley was on the outside. Charlotte jumped up on the barricade, and she did a standing moonsault backwards off the barricade, standing on the barricade. WWE showed a replay. It's as if Charlotte has no sense of direction. She looks like a fucking a bird flying into a glass window without realizing that she's flying into a glass window. She jumps backwards. She barely grazes Bayley with her fucking elbow. Bayley's got to sell this horrific fucking moonsault. And Charlotte, again, all knees, no form, garbage. If you can't do it correctly, there's something called the PC down in Orlando, Florida. I think you should set up a lesson with Matt Bloom. Please, go down there and learn how to do a fucking moonsault. Don't they have those big bags that you can fucking float in the air and land on? Seriously, those big cushions? Go and learn how to do a moonsault. Then she does it again. She goes up to the top. She does a moonsault. Bayley blocked it this time. Charlotte landed on her feet. So she goes to put the figure eight. Bayley gets out of it. And then Bayley takes control. She does the Bayley to belly. Sets Charlotte up in position. Bayley jumps off the top rope with the flying elbow drop. She covered Charlotte. She was complaining about the ref making a slow count. Charlotte kicked out of the elbow. So she's complaining to the ref, that's a 3, I deserve the title, that's a 3, I deserve to win, I deserve the title. She's looking at this shit. She's looking at this shit and she's complaining and she's not paying attention. I'm like, bitch, turn the fuck around. What are you doing? You're making yourself look like a blithering fool. She's yelling at the referee, yelling at the fans, I deserve this, this is my title, I should win, I deserve to win. So Charlotte hits her with a natural selection as she's yelling and ranting and bitching at the referee. Bayley turned this pin from the natural selection into a small package, and she picks up the surprising victory over Charlotte and wins the SmackDown Live or SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, women's title. Afterward, she gets on the microphone and says, hey, bitches. And Corey Graves was like, what did she just say? I knew what she said, and I'm glad she said it. She said, screw all of you. And then dropped the microphone. Bayley's got new theme music. She's got a new hairstyle. She's got a new hair color. She got no more Bayley buddies. Heel Bayley has finally emerged. Now, Bayley's staying on SmackDown Live. Sasha Banks is staying on SmackDown Live. What I'm thinking is WWE tried to position Sasha Banks and tried to portray Sasha Banks as a heel, being that she's now signed an extension with the WWE. She's not going anywhere. Now that she's back on TV, back on the road with the company. WWE cannot really push her as a heel because nobody's going to really believe it. Sasha Banks didn't really say anything to the crowd at all to anger them and have the crowd turn against her. She tried to act like a heel, but she ended up coming off as a cool heel because everybody loves Sasha Banks. Bayley, though, she took a different route. Instead of doing the cheating and the fucking winning by nefarious means and pulling out a cheap victory here and stealing one there, she did the opposite of Sasha Banks and said, fuck you to everybody. I am the women's champion. You're all bitches. Go screw yourself. And then she walks away. And she cut up her Bayley buddies. So Sasha Banks and Bayley, folks, we could be headed towards a babyface Sasha and a heel Bayley for the Women's Championship on SmackDown Live. That's the way I see it happening. And we might finally get that after all these years. 2 years ago, I told everybody about Sasha Banks and Bayley being the title match for the Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw at WrestleMania. WWE didn't do that, and instead they gave us fucking Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. They fucked up. They fucked up. So, I think we're finally getting this. I honestly think this is where WWE is going. Sasha Banks was never going to be a full-fledged heel. WWE was never going to be able to turn Sasha Banks into a full-fledged heel. Bayley is already off on the right foot with this thing. And I love it. I want to love it. I really want to love it. I think it's fucking great. It came off great. I just hope that they don't deviate from what they did tonight. I really don't. I don't want them to deviate because what she did tonight was brilliant. There was a sense of urgency in Bayley. There was an intensity that we've never seen before. She was punching and kicking, and she delivered a running knee in this match to Charlotte Flair that I've never seen Bayley do with such ferocity and intensity. That's the Bayley we need to see. You gotta let this woman go in that ring unhinged. You cannot handcuff this woman anymore. This is the Bayley we need to see. I don't want to see them deviate from this current version of Bayley. You either go all the way with it or you don't do it at all. And it looks like they're well along the lines of going forward with it. And I hope that that stays. WWE has Bayley doing the right thing. Shit on the fans. Shit all over them. Because you didn't fucking stay with me. All through the ups and downs. All through the downs. You all shit on me. Bayley needs to shit on the fans and generate real heel heat. Sasha didn't do that. Sasha tried to come off, and I know what she was trying to do, but there was no way that was ever going to work with her. People love her too much. People respect her too much. People know that she should be the best women's wrestler in the world. WWE should have Sasha hold as many title reigns as Charlotte. You know? That's where the fans think Sasha Banks should be. It was never going to happen. So I think we're headed towards a Bayley versus Sasha Banks on SmackDown Live, and I couldn't be more happy. I think this is great. I just hope the fans, you know, really go for it and they don't sit there not giving a shit. I really hope that they buy into this. The first sign of them not caring, it's not going to go well, man. We'll see what happens. So, Monday Night Raw gets the draft next. So, in the end, this is where everybody sits. And let me know if you guys see any change in this. Becky Lynch was a Raw superstar. She still is. OC was Raw superstars. They still are. Drew McIntyre was a Raw superstar. Still is. Randy Orton was a SmackDown guy, right? He is now a Raw guy. Ricochet was a Raw guy. Bobby Lashley was a Raw guy. Alexa Bliss was a Raw superstar. Kevin Owens was a SmackDown guy. Natalya was a Raw superstar. The Viking Raiders were Raw guys. Nikki Cross was a Raw guy. The Street Profits were a Raw team. Where's the change? Where's the change on Monday Night Raw? Kevin Owens? Randy Orton? I don't really call that change, folks. SmackDown Live got Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks, Braun Strowman, and Lacey Evans. That was pretty much it. And the Lucha House Party. So, SmackDown Live got more different superstars than Monday Night Raw. So, we got Wyatt, Banks, Strowman, Evans, and the Lucha House Party. The Revival were already on SmackDown Live because they won the Tag Team Championship. So, them being drafted to SmackDown Live is no surprise. They were the Tag Team Champions on that show. Heavy Machinery, they were a SmackDown team. Roman Reigns was a SmackDown superstar. Nothing changed. SmackDown got a few different additions, but Monday Night Raw remains unchanged, and that's the one show that needs to be changed. Man, there's 41 superstars waiting to find a home on Monday. I hope they really make it that Monday Night Raw looks vastly different, at least more different than what we've seen tonight. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all your support, and if you missed anything that I have uploaded on the channel, make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out. I will be back on Saturday morning at 11. I think 11. I don't know when I'm going to upload it. Maybe I'll upload it around 2. Saturday's okay. Saturday's okay. I can upload later in the afternoon. Sunday's a different story. Just Sunday I might be uploading a little early just to get the jump on the NFL Sunday games. So I'll see you guys on Off the Script tomorrow. It is one hell of an episode, almost 2 hours. It's live on Patreon right now. It's been live on Patreon for 48 hours. Make sure you guys go and check that out. A massive rant on the original plans that Vince McMahon did not go with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, NXT, Off the Script Elite, that was uploaded on Tuesday. Ton of content for you guys, so make sure you guys check all that stuff out. Links will be down in the description of this very video. Make sure you guys check out my buddies over at Trend Teams. Let's do it, man. Let's do some fantasy social media. I'll be on there. I got a nice little lobby waiting for you. Let's get in there. You can compete against me and see if you can beat me. See if you can beat my team, man. My team is looking pretty fucking stacked. Randy Orton, he might be tweeting about tonight. We might see the analytics bump me up there as far as that goes. CM Punk is always saying something. Joe Rogan. Dwayne Johnson, man. Every time Dwayne Johnson tweets something, it goes viral. So, Trend Teams, man. Every time there is social media reaction, it's going to be based on the analytics, which is going to give your team the best chance of winning. It's just like if someone hits a home run. If Andrew Yang is tweeting out, and he's saying something about the presidential election coming up, then I am going to get points based on his social media analytics. So there you go. And if it blows up, I got the best chance of scoring very high on Trend Teams. Make sure you guys go and check it out. They're on social media. They're on Twitter. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. And make sure you guys join trendteams.com. It is absolutely free to join up. And let's get in there and have some fun, man. I am getting out of here. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. And I will see you guys right back here for Off the Script 295, part number 1. Until then, guys, enjoy your Friday nights. And I'll see you right back here on Saturday afternoon for more OTS.